3-meter springboard diving, a contest that shaped up as a battle between a senior and a freshman.
And as we take a look back at round 2, this is where senior Longhorn diver Drew Livingston started to make his move with a forward 2.5 with 2 twists.
Drew Livingston with 8 up to a 9 and 81.60 for the Texas Longhorn.
And that was the best and the highest scoring dive done in round 2 until Kristian Ipsen, the freshman from Stanford, got up to do his forward 3.5 somersault. Wow. That 3.5 now was the highest scoring dive of the contest with 9s and 9.5s.
The freshman Kristian Ipsen with 4 9.5s. He moves into first place with an 86.8 on that dive. So after 5 rounds, it remains Ipsen and Livingston 1-2 going into the 6th and final round. David Bonucchi in 3rd place. Adam Mizzouri less than a point behind Livingston with 1 dive to go.
He needs a really good dive here because he's at the top of the order. He's 1 point, not even 1 point behind Drew Livingston, who's in 2nd place. And the degree of difficulty difference is huge, huge. 3.0 right here. Drew Livingston is scheduled to do a 3.8 degree of difficulty dive. So Bonucchi needs all the scores he can get to put the pressure on Livingston. Nice. I wouldn't say it's his best one ever, but it certainly is a good dive, and I can't imagine that he wouldn't receive at least 8s on this dive. You know, for insurance, and I'm sure he was going for the highest scores he could possibly get, but he probably needed over 75 points to ensure. And I love that entry. I think that is so pretty. I was sort of captivated by that. So I think it's a very good dive. It's sliding just a little bit too far away from the springboard, but we'll see.
Final round, 3-meter final. This is Drew Livingston right now in 2nd place, thinking about a championship here. He's already won the 1-meter. The senior from Texas. Final dive here in the 3-meter.
And his mom knows that this is his hardest dive. It's a forward 4.5. A 4.5 somersault, 3.8. He needs 6.5s to stay ahead of David Bonucchi. 6.5s on a forward 4.5. Yes, yes. And that was clutch. There's Bob and Janine knowing full well that that was a dive he wasn't sure he was going to do unless he needed to, because you can change a dive if you need to. And Drew Livingston just got up and did the best dive that he's performed in the last round. And that is the sign of a champion. He might not win this contest, but that's the sign of a champion when you can come back and do that kind of dive in the final round.
And look at that, 8.5s, 8s, and he at least has 2nd place with a solid dive here in the 6th and final round.
Highest scoring dive of the contest thus far, 91.20 points.
Here's the leader, freshman from Stanford, Kristian Ipsen, going for the 3-meter title. He's the current leader here. His final dive in the 6th round, trying to hold off Drew Livingston from Texas.
Oh yes, there's your winner, the freshman from Stanford, right there. And boy, do they need those points in the team race. There's your winner, unbelievable. Comes back from missing a reverse 3.5. And he does the best, some of the best twisters in the world. This beautiful twisting position, so high above. I would take off a 0.5 point for the feet coming apart, and maybe then the feet come apart just right there slightly, and he gets them back together, and maybe another 0.5 point or so. And there's his father, Kent, jumping up and down, the sister beside.
There are the numbers, a championship dive for Kristian Ipsen. Congratulations to the freshman from Stanford. The 3-meter championship goes to Kristian Ipsen from Stanford. In second place, Drew Livingston picks up important points for Texas in the team race. David Bonucchi of Mizzouri, third. Here's Rowdy Gaines with the fantastic frosh.
Take me through that last dive, especially knowing that fifth dive, you kind of muffed just a little bit.
Right.
What was going through your mind right before it?
Well, usually I don't like to look at the leaderboard, but after that fifth round dive, I did. I had to look. I was like, I needed to see where I was just so that I felt comfortable. When I saw that I had a 20-point lead, but that didn't make me feel that much more comfortable because I knew Drew had front 4.5, and he always does it really, really well. So I knew I needed to do a good last dive, and I'm happy I did. But my last dive is one of my most consistent, so I wasn't too nervous.
Congratulations. It was certainly a good last dive.